I bought it in 2006, the height of the, right before the crash. Ish, within a year or two. I bought it for $550,000, and at one point it got all the way down to worth 400. Giveaway on Instagram today for people that are watching this. It'll probably be too late at that point, but it's just to help people with the motivation piece, right? Like when I go into my YouTube, I talk about mindset and motivation and accountability, which is what I was just giving shit to her for. Making sure that her previous job, unfortunately, her superior didn't give her a lot of autonomy, so she's still not completely used to it. So that's why I'm hard on her about making her own decisions. Because even if she would have made the decision on that other one where she paid the $200 for the guy to print it versus us, I would have probably been like, that was probably not the right decision, but I also know it wouldn't have changed the game. So I wanted her to make the decision versus saying, Nate, I was waiting for you. I was like, no, you weren't waiting for me. You make the decision, right? And so it's something because she's very clearly more than competent to make the decision. She just needs to have the confidence to do that, which she will get. So, yeah. She's been here all of 2 months, so we're just teaching her all these new things. But one of my obsessions is detail, and she's actually pretty good at it. But for organization, we're working with her on that because it's not every day where you have an assistant that has to manage 6 different businesses, right? So I got to be somewhat patient with her, even though I'm a smart ass. So when you see me on camera and there being a smart ass, she's very used to it. She understands it. It's not like that's why her and I are cool with that. But also, she has to be like this, right? Because we have so much to do. You got it?
Yeah.
So, a few questions I'm getting this week from people DMing me. So we'll go over a couple because I always want to respect everybody and the questions they're having come my way. So one of them is, what do you think the first step in change is? First step in change, I think, is just it's obviously the mental commitment to make sure you want to make the change, right? I think anybody that's a drug addict, smoking, wants to be more successful, wants to change their career, whatever it may be, they have to make an actual commitment mentally that they want to do that. It's easy for you to verbally say that. It's one to fundamentally make a change from a mindset standpoint, right? It's even like me recently. I've gained a couple pounds, nothing major, but I just need to make the commitment of not eating freaking 5 brownies and and going out and drinks and eating a little bit healthier, making more conscious decisions. So that's just simply somebody saying, no, I'm going to do this, and having their why or their commitment to be the first step in it. Once you've made that commitment, then you just make incremental goals associated with that change and kind of evaluate how you're doing along the process and enjoy the ride, right? So that would be the first set, is just mentally making that commitment, and that's truly meant. That's not saying verbally saying it. Those are two different things, right? That'd be like saying, oh, well, I'm going to go grow this business to 500 trucks versus saying, no, how am I mentally going to commit to that? I'm willing to commit the time, financial resources, all that type of stuff. So that'd be that's a good question, but that would be the way I would suggest anybody that wants to make some type of fundamental change. Do you have anyone you look up to? People ask this a lot. I think I answered this a couple weeks ago. Nobody specific, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. There's people I look up to for different reasons. A good buddy of mine, Adam Kimball, very successful, sold his business for a ton of money. Seems to be a solid family man. I look up to him for that, and the fact that he's very giving still and all that. So indirectly, not one person because of their total well-roundedness, but one maybe different pieces of people. So I'm trying to surround myself around different groups of people. Even the gym that one of the gyms I own, it's for certain people, when it comes to certain attributes they have, I definitely look up to them, but not one specific person. So, good question though. What is a good way to find a mentor? I think it has to be somebody that's going to, challenge you, not a yes man or yes woman, right? Not somebody that's going to say, oh, Nate, you're doing well, Nate, you're doing well. Good job, Nate, good job. That thing. You don't want to hear that. I mean, at this point, based on where you are in your life, you probably know if you're doing well at something or not. If you don't, then there's a bigger issue than just a mentor, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Plenty of people probably need to have that reinforcement, but my perspective of a mentor, somebody that's going to challenge you, ask the tougher questions, put you in an uncomfortable spot. So one, doing that. Two, somebody you actually respect, right? Because unwarranted advice or advice from people that you don't necessarily respect, you're not going to take very literally. You're probably not going to make any type of fundamental decisions or changes, or it's gonna be fun. And motivational speaking, that happens all the time. Everybody gets all excited and jacked up about it, and hey, I want to be like that person. That person's awesome, and then an hour later, you go back to your fucking normal life, right? And so it has to be somebody that you truly respect and you know, right? So motivational speaking's awesome. I do plenty of that, but if I don't know them personally, I know the majority of those people probably aren't gonna take it and run with it. So it's pretty important that you look for that in a mentor, and then somebody that you can grow with too, right? Somebody that has the scalability with you, right? Sometimes you'll outgrow your mentor, and you don't want that necessarily either. See, next question: what is your worst investment you've ever made? Probably my first house, to be honest with you. I still own it. I got really lucky. I can go into that story a little bit later, but I bought it in 2006, the height of right before the crash ish, within a year or two. I bought it for $550,000, and at one point I got all the way down to worth $400. So that's a pretty substantial cut. Luckily, the second loan I took out for the count as a down payment. If everybody knows home loans, they did 80/20 IO. They ended up essentially walking away from the loan, and all I did is buy it out, and so I saved myself about $100,000. But if that didn't happen, I'd be in a pretty bad position right now. But that's probably the worst investment I've ever made. So historically, real estate's obviously a good investment, but in that scenario where we had the major crash 10 years ago or whatever, it was a very poor investment. But at 26 years old, 27 years old, I would have obviously never known that. So best piece of advice that you've ever got. This is a good one. I think I get it from everybody, from multiple people, but I think one of those things is just, Eric Thomas always says you have to want it more than you want to breathe, right? So whatever it is, and that's kind of cheesy. My father said to me a long time ago, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. A little bit maybe dark, but I'm a firm believer that, people just kind of wake up every day to do the bare minimum, which I don't necessarily believe most people are put on this earth to do. I think most people will actually want to do right, but I think that, wanting it that bad and finding something that makes you tick that bad, more than you want to breathe type of thing. If you listen to some Eric Thomas's videos, you'll really understand that. That's what stuck with me a long time. So that maybe off the top of my head, some good advice I've got. If you were to start over, would you do anything different? Probably. Realistically, no, because everything that I've done has got me to where I'm at and made me who I am and gave me the life experience that I probably wouldn't get with all the failures that I've had. If I were to start over and start, say, another service business that isn't done at nights, I probably would consider that, right? Because service businesses at nights are very difficult. But on the other hand, it's given me an extraordinary amount of mental fortitude and just persistence and resilience that I would have never had if I didn't start, say, Green Guard. So I wouldn't really do anything over. I'm not a firm believer in that. I think that there's a reason why you do things and the reason why things happen. It's not like I'm in a scenario where, falling under drugs or anything like that, where maybe people will have that type of regret. But even then, people I got family members that are 20 years clean right now, that said they wouldn't do it over. I've had that same discussion with them, and it's because they've made them who they are, right? And you don't know how you would necessarily see yourself if you didn't have those types of experiences or failures in life, or successes for that matter. So I wouldn't really do anything over. I think as long as you make the conscious good decision every day and you're trying to do the right things in it inevitably work out, right? So those are a couple questions that I've had. I think they're very good. I appreciate you guys all asking those questions. Please ask more. I'm here to help. I'm here to support. I think that we can, bouncing a lot of ideas off each other and a lot of questions can definitely promote that motivational environment we're all looking for, and people that want to support each other and take away the negativity in life. And I think it's very, very important that that's the way you think versus thinking of, the woe is me or my life sucks type of mentality, which sadly enough, there's more than enough of that out there in this life. So thanks for asking and appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. All right, so we're gonna go check out some things in the warehouse today. Make sure everything's healthy. I'm gonna answer some more questions that you guys have sent to me. So thanks for the continued engagement, and go from there. I've answered a few of these the other day, but let's talk a little bit about time management. I think it's really important people understand that, you know, people hate the phrase. I've actually had people argue that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Yes, you could argue, well, they can't argue with me anymore, but you, you can argue that when you have children, it's different, but it's still the same 24 hours. It's just what you do with it, right? So instead of reading as much and watching as much, you know, educational stuff, I take care of my child. But I still have the same 24 hours. I don't make that as an excuse on why I can't get the gym in, why I can't get shit done for work, why I'm not meeting goals or any of that, right? I mean, last night, the baby was sleeping or awake till 1:30 in the morning. I didn't sit there and delay my time to get up. I got up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 this morning, and got to work. Does it suck? Of course it sucks, but that's just part of the nature of the game, right? I just don't think of it that way. So I just know these are my obligations, what I have to do, and I get it done. So I'm going to put basically a timetable of the 24 hours of what I do every day. I'm going to share it with you guys in a very quick manner over the next like week and a half. I'll get 2 or 3 or 4 days in there, so you can really see. It's just a practice. It's not to say, hey, everybody look how busy I am, because I really don't give a shit if people think I am or not. What I really care about is to give you guys perspective on maybe you should put perspective in your own lives on where you spend your 24 hours, and if it's something that's helping you, moving you forward, if you're surrounding yourself around the right people, if you're spending the time you need to spend the time. And I think that if you see me go through that, hopefully it'll help you guys. So something I wanted to just bring up because I think it's very important. You get people like The Rock and these other, you know, really famous people that, you know, still get workout in after 18-hour days and have children, and Gary Vee that's traveling all over the place and has a family and all that. So people that have their 9 to 5s and then say they don't have time to go to the gym or say they don't have time for this or that, I just think it's bullshit. I think it's simply just a choice on where you spend your time. People don't like it. That's this me speaking candidly, especially on my YouTube channel, isn't to sit there and try to satisfy the masses versus just give people real perspective on maybe the way they look at things or the way they should look at something a little bit differently sometimes. So.